record. Okay, so we have a little bit of catching up to do. I have ended the fast. I ended the fast almost at the 3-day mark. I made it 2 3/4 of a day. I just came back from a podcast. I got invited to go speak on a podcast, but and we'll get to that in a little bit. First, I want to share the fasting experience. I think what I really gained from the fast really set in when I lost it. I should have ended the fast on the night of the second day leading into the morning of the day that I ended it. I realized that it was a pride thing. I wanted to show the people that I had told about the fast that I had made it all the way. Another thing is that I want to do this fast more often. Juice fasting is very easy. I'm actually going to take a sip of orange juice. It's super sustainable. Honestly, really cheap if you have a juicer. And extremely effective. I said in my last video that I had a very clean bowel system, very clean intestines. That is cap. That is a lie. Okay, I had 10 bowel movements in 6 hours. After juicing those grapes, I drank about 100 ounces of grape juice, and just over and over and over again. It was disgusting. And then I did an enema to just like get the rest out, because I was like, I need to go to sleep, but I can't keep doing this. My thoughts became visual. They weren't words anymore. I started to receive what I should do as like a movie. You know, it was, if I was supposed to have orange juice, it wasn't like, okay, I should go have orange juice. It was like I don't feel like I need to give an example for that. I feel like you guys understand what I mean, but my thoughts were very, very visual. It was like I was seeing through the eyes of myself doing what I should be doing. And so then I'd go do that, and then my thought would turn into what I was actually seeing and doing. And I spoke about this on this podcast. It's called the Wandering Minds podcast. I think they're on YouTube. If they are, I'll link them down below. Anyway, like I said, we'll get back to that later. But it started to spur up my interest with the concept of God, the creator, all that, because these were thoughts that I was receiving. So who was I getting them from? And why? What was it leading me to? And I noticed that it didn't stop, but the clarity of the signal has definitely gone down now that I've been eating. I entered a really high state of being, and I'm high by my standards for right now. What I've entered, I can definitely see being my default soon. Because that's what this healing thing does, is you fast, you stretch yourself out, you enter this really clean state of being that isn't sustainable for you at that moment, and then you fall back on some old habits that you need to get out. But once you burn them out, you climb, you stretch a little bit farther, you see something a little bit more than what you saw last time, and you fall again. So I can see where I was being my default mode. But all of that to say is, it was wonderful. It was so cool. It was so different. My nighttime experiences, my travels were so vivid. Sorry. When I did eat, the change was drastic and it was fast. I also didn't listen, which I need to listen more. I was supposed to eat grapes, but I was just really wanting some dried mangoes and some apples, because that's what I'd been having for the longest times, with dried mangoes and apples, or dried mangoes and grapes. Just a lot of dried mangoes. But my body was like, wet fruit, please, in specific grapes, that'd be awesome. And in the book Rational Fasting by Arnold Ehret, which he gives insanely rational instructions for fasting, he explains that cherries and grapes are the best for breaking a fast, but that's only to be done if you're not a meat eater and you're fasting. You need to be off the meat for probably a little bit before you can do something like that. But anyway, yeah, I didn't do that. I did dried mango, and then I had some watermelon later, and it came out slower than I knew it could have, and I felt it, and I just don't crave dried mangoes like I once did. It's interesting. I can't overeat like I once did. I tried to yesterday, actually. No, 2 days ago, actually. I was really craving my poison is sea salt, vinegar, chips, and hummus. Delicious, but dang, they messed me up bad. But anyway, I couldn't overeat like I once did. I actually just unconsciously stepped away from my salad, from my chips and hummus. You're supposed to eat a salad with very thick fibrous foods to help pass along any type of poison that you're going to be eating. So if you do decide to indulge in some starch, in some meat, in some dairy, have it with a salad of like celery, romaine, red bell pepper, put some lemon juice in there. You could chop up little dates, you can put spinach, whatever you want, but just have a salad to help that stuff pass. Anyway, I couldn't finish either of them. I stepped away because it was hurting. Because over the course of almost 3 days, I got a ton of undigested waste out. I got a ton of excess water out of my system. So everything was able to not be so stretched out. My tissues stopped being so stretched out. My blood stopped having so much pressure with the excess water, and everything started to dilate back down into how it's supposed to be. And so when you try to overeat, what you're doing is unnatural. So everything has to stretch out to accommodate this gluttony. And it hurts. It does. It really hurts. And if you continue to overeat, it doesn't hurt as much because you're numb to it. That doesn't make it any better, though, because if you're numb to the pain, that's really scary, actually. You need to become sensitive to things so you know they're actually affecting you. Anyway, overeating is harder, and it's much more painful. So I can see the sea salt, vinegar, chips being gone within the next year or two. And I give that a really long time because it takes a while to get off these things. My ability to get ready for astral projection is a lot better. In fact, 2 nights ago? No, not 2 nights. A night ago? What was it? I want to say it was either 3 nights ago or 2 nights ago. I think it was 3 nights ago. I think it was the end of the first day. Within 5 minutes, my body was ready to get out, but I'm still dealing with so much fear. There was a time where I got out of body during my 10-minute break, which was cool because it showed me okay, I can do this quick. But I got out of body during my 10-minute break. I was in my car. I remember I got out and I looked at my rearview mirror, and behind my car was this crazy looking woman. Her hair was all nuts. Her face was just, I don't think I made it as creepy as she seemed, but it was spooky. And so I just went right back into my body. I was like, man. And I was thinking about it today when I was driving to the podcast about how I just wanted to get aggressive, how I wanted to get out of the car and be like, what the f***? Get the f*** out of here. What the f*** you think you're doing? Type thing, to just scare it, get it away. But really, I'm scared. And I'm not being so loving. Why can I be so loving outside of here and be so passive? Sorry, not outside of here, but why can I be so loving here? Why can I be so passive here? But when I'm in the astrals, I want to become stern and strong and, to these things. I kind of am troubled with that because I don't want to be like that. Maybe there's necessary firmness that needs to happen, but, it's not enjoyable being mean. I always question it after. It's not even enjoyable being stern. I always question it after. Could I have approached that differently? So, yeah, but I am just scared of astral projection and stuff like that. But I need to not be scared, and I'm gonna work on it. Right now, I still see myself in in that like motivation building stage. Just as I was leading up into this fast, it was a lot of me looking into people fasting, talking about or listening to people talk about fasting, just being like, oh, like I want to be there. It's gonna be so much fun when I'm there, you know, and just really building up that excitement for when I'm gonna do it, and having me talk about it. When I start talking about it, that's how I know I'm getting some momentum. Yeah, and then this podcast, it was really fun. One of my really good friends who's just very open to me and my out there-ness, you know. He has some buddies that have a platform, and they just had me on, and he wanted to talk about the mucusless diet healing system. He wanted to talk about astral projection, breath work, yoga, all that stuff. And we just got into the eating thing, and we kind of touched up on other stuff, but we just got dominated on one subject, and I thought that was dope. I thought that was cool, and that's how you know that they were engaged. And I was just, dude, it's so sick. It's so sick. You spend all these nights, all these days just doing something that you love by yourself, and just genuinely having a passion for it. And then people come, and then you start helping people, and you start just, it's so cool. Oh, it's so cool. Build it and they will come, you know? Build it and they will come. But on that note, I'm going to leave because me and my little lady, we're going to go to the lake. So I love you guys. Thank you guys.